This video is sponsored by Fabulous. Down by 4 with only half a minute to go, we all know who gets the ball on the Wizards. That's exactly what Cleveland thinks as well. So as Beal gets it on the left side, the Cavs get caught watching him and trying to help, while Kuzma is wide open on the three-point line. And since the Wizards have been relying on unselfishness and team basketball, Bradley makes an incredible pass on target and Kyle knocks down a 3 to cut the deficit to 1. So, 2 free throws later, Washington has a crucial possession out of the timeout. They again have their best player getting the ball with a full head of steam on the curl, which as he makes the turn, you can see that his man is beat already. That forces the weak side help to come, and once again, Bradley makes the right play of finding Kyle Kuzma in the corner for an open shot and the lead at the end of the game. The Wizards won this tough game, and right now they're sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference, shocking literally everyone with this incredible start. So let me show you the secret behind all of this. What up everybody, my name is Stefan and this is Heat Check. Let's get into it. Before we dive into the biggest reason for their success, let's first point out the fact that the roster is so much deeper and better overall, and the pieces that Washington got in the Westbrook trade are fitting perfectly. In the win against Indiana, Dinwiddie exploded for 34 points. In the win against Atlanta, 4 guys had over 20 points. Then, in the win against Memphis, 7 players had double-digit points. This is a perfect showcase that the way that this team is constructed at the moment, there are a lot of guys who can score and break out at any given night. While last season Beal needed to play hero every single game and score 31 points per game, now the load is evenly spread out throughout the entire team, and that includes the second unit as well. Speaking of that, Montrezl Harrell is back to his 6th Man of the Year form, averaging 18 points and 9 rebounds in just 29 minutes off the bench. It's still incredible to me how there are almost never any plays for him. Harrell gets 18 points per game strictly by out-hustling the opponents either on the offensive rebound or by bulldozing through them once he catches it in the paint. Another guy who I'm sure enjoys this new role is Kyle Kuzma, who can now play without the pressure and expectations that he was struggling with on the Lakers. And so far, we can definitely see the positive impact with 15 points and surprisingly 9 rebounds, which is a welcome addition. Next, at the beginning of this season, Washington played 3 close games but won all 3 of them due to clutch shots from a bunch of different players. Last year, we gotta give credit to Russell Westbrook for willing this team into the play-in tournament by averaging a triple-double, but close games almost always ended up in a loss for them. That's because Russell loved firing up 3-point shots at the end of games and bricked them most of the time. Actually, since his MVP season, Westbrook has taken more tie or go-ahead 3-pointers in the final minute of games than any other NBA player. He's shooting 8 for 43 on those, which is a horrific 18.5%. We're still seeing him take and miss those on the Lakers as well. So yeah, the season has definitely started with a lot more positivity and a lot less stress for the Wizards fans at the end of close games. And speaking of stress, I have to admit that the YouTube live can get a bit stressful when looking at the numbers after each upload. But huge thanks to Fabulous, the sponsor of today's video, that is here to calm me down, remind me that I really love the process of watching basketball and making videos, and to help me find joy in everyday things in life. Fabulous is the #1 self-care app to help you build better habits and achieve your goals. It's like having your own coach in your pocket that helps you build habits that will stick. There are all these journeys that you can take to become a better version of yourself. I mentioned the one that really spoke to me for living a purpose-driven life, but there are many more for people that need help with healthy eating, working out, self-discipline, or mental fitness. Also, I absolutely love this nighttime routine where I slow down, breathe, disconnect, and listen to this. Wow, if you have a hard time falling asleep, I highly recommend it. Start building your ideal daily routine. The first 100 people who click on the link will get 25% off a Fabulous subscription. As we get back to the video, let me review what's in my opinion the biggest reason and Washington's secret behind this huge success early on. And that is none other than their new head coach, Wes Unseld Jr. Not only has he sold the entire team on playing the right way, unselfish basketball, and getting 110% effort out of everyone, but dude completely transformed them into a defensive monster. At the moment, the Wizards have the 4th best defense, which is an unbelievable jump from the number 20 position that they ended last year. And this is not by accident either. Before coming in and taking over this team, Ansel Jr. was brought in as a lead assistant coach in Denver in 2016. His special assignment had been to manage a defense that had been previously brutal. So the Nuggets went from 28th in defense in 2017-18 to number 10 the next season. And from that point on to 2021, when he left, Denver ranked among the top 6 in defensive efficiency. That's incredible. The leader of the team has nothing but praise for Ansel Jr. and credits him for pushing him defensively and reactivating him on that side of the floor after a few lackadaisical seasons.
I mean, he's just pushing me. He's known me to be a defender when I first got into the league in my first few years. He's seen that I was able to defend, and he hates the fact that my defense kind of slipped the last few years. So he's definitely challenging me in a lot of areas. And granted, we have a lot of guys who are able to help on the offensive end, so it takes a lot of pressure on me on that end. I can definitely exuberate more energy to the defensive side of the ball. I still love the fact that he's very defensive oriented. He's pushing me, pushing everybody to be better defenders collectively and taking our individual challenges.
And on offense, the new head coach has implemented a ton of interesting play designs which get his players open looks and result in buckets. Instead of me regurgitating the same thing I saw on YouTube, let me instead give a shout out to a channel called Basketball Immersion who compiled the most interesting play calls into one video, and I recommend that you watch that one after my video. I'll leave a link in the description. And on top of everything, Washington is having all of this success despite having their main guy, their main offensive weapon, Bradley Beal, shooting a miserable 25% from downtown. He has been dealing with a few nagging knee and hip injuries since the start, but who knows, maybe adjusting to the new Wilson ball has some effects on him. If we compare last season to this one, you can see that the 3-point shooting is down across the entire league. And the number 6 Portland Trail Blazers from last year would easily be leading the league right now. That just shows how much worse the outside shooting is at the moment, and a clear evidence that there is an adjustment period for the shooters.
Shooter, is there anything to the new ball this year for you, an adjustment or anything?
Yeah, it's an adjustment. It's definitely different. It's a little slicker. The word Wilson isn't as embossed as Spalding was, so it's a little. It has its differences, but once it's broken in, it feels pretty much the same. So it's just a matter of getting used to it.
Whatever the case may be, I certainly do not expect Beal to continue to shoot like I would, so things are only going to get better for this team offensively. Add in Rui Hachimura, who's expected to have his debut back from injury in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and Thomas Bryant, who should be back from his ACL injury around January, and the roster is somehow going to get even deeper. But do I expect them to finish in the top 4? Absolutely not. However, the fact that nobody had them even close to the first 6 playoff spots makes this 8-3 record that much more valuable, especially because they beat some solid teams like the Boston Celtics twice, the Memphis Grizzlies, the defending champions Milwaukee Bucks, as well as the Atlanta Hawks, proving that this wasn't just a fluke of the schedule but rather a result of quality play and effort. So let's see how long they can sustain this pace. Let me know in the comments who's been the biggest surprise so far this season. It can be positive like the Wizards, the Bulls, or the Cavs, or negative like the Lakers, the Blazers, or the Pelicans. That's it for now. Subscribe and talk to you in the next one. Peace out. One for 3. I'm still adjusting to the new ball. It's kind of sleek, kind of slippery, so yeah, adjustment period. Peace.